Loot box news from the political front. A US senator has recently written an open letter to the ESRB urging that they actually get off their arses and do something about the predatory nature of loot boxes. The senator in question is Maggie Hassan, who has asked the ESRB to, and I quote, review the completeness of the board's ratings process and policies as they relate to loot boxes, and to take into account the potential harm these types of microtransactions may have on children. As per Ars Technica, Hassan raised concerns about the psychological principles and enticing mechanics that closely mirror those often found in casinos and games of chance. She said that while there is a debate over whether or not we should consider loot boxes gambling, there are nonetheless similarities. Both of them are expensive habits using similar psychological principles, pretty much stuff you've heard me say on the Jimquisition a fair few times. Now obviously she as a senator is focused on the children. I've said before that this isn't about simply restricting the sale of games to kids for me. This is about anyone with gambling problems, addictive personalities, and indeed the corporations that have gambling problems themselves. The likes of Electronic Arts and Ubisoft have become addicted to their live services where they can continue to exploit people for as much money as they're willing to hand over, or at least feel like they're willingly handing it over and not being manipulated into doing so. Now this letter isn't urging, it is not a call for government intervention, but she did ask some nominees at the Federal Trade Commission whether games that allow, and I quote, in-game purchases for surprise winnings were worth looking into for the FTC, and all four of those nominees agreed that it was. And I hate to say I told you so, but I love to say I told you so, and game industry, I fucking told you so. I said this could go one of two ways. The game industry could fix its shit, or something's gonna happen that makes politicians very fucking interested in fixing the shit for them. And the ESRB and ESA's mealy-mouthed bullshit regarding this issue is certainly leading us down the latter route. A lot of people have emailed me about various causes trying to get loot boxes classified as gambling, or trying to get the ESRB to classify it as gambling, and I don't think that's quite the right approach. If it ends up going the regulatory route, law simply has to catch up to technology and accept that this might not be gambling, not in a direct sense, but it does use pretty much all of the tricks of the trade and has been doing so without the restrictions you see in actual gambling. The law has not caught up to technology, and big publishers are yucking it up and raking it in at our quite literal expense. If it does go the regulatory route, what has to happen is that loot boxes get their own classification. It's not traditional gambling, it's something else. It's something new, but it's similar enough that it should be subject to similar restrictions. Now, the ideal thing for the game industry, of course, is to avoid regulation, and that's where the ESRB comes in. The ESRB, the Entertainment Software Ratings Board, was set up for the industry to self-regulate. They rate the content of games and age-gate them appropriately. But you've always got to remember that the ESRB's job is not to protect anyone other than the game industry itself. So the fact they're doing nothing about loot boxes shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. They will not move until they're pushed, because they're looking out for the interests of the EAs and the Ubisofts and the Warner Brotherses of the world. If we go back to Ars Technica, I said Ars, the ESRB actually sent a statement to them. We received Senator Hassan's letter and appreciate her confidence in and support of the ESRB rating system. For more than 2 decades, we have earned the trust of parents around the country by helping them make informed decisions about the games their children play. As the industry evolves, so does our rating system, and we will continue to make enhancements to ensure parents continue to be well informed. We will also continue to provide information about additional tools, including parental control guides, that help parents set spending and time limits and block potentially inappropriate games based on the ESRB assigned age rating. A response so toothless it could have been the grandpa from Hey Arnold. The Entertainment Software Association, a two-faced, cowardly lobby group that lobbies on behalf of the game industry and engages in astroturfing via the Video Game Voters Network, did not have a comment. Now, these groups can sit on the sidelines and do fuck all, but if they're not going to do their job, somebody's going to step in and do it for them. If not the ESRB, then maybe another regulatory board needs to be set up specifically to handle monetization in video games. Because, quite frankly, video game publishers are not going to be able to help themselves, and somebody, somewhere, is going to have to step in and do the helping. Fact is, politicians are smelling publicity here the way they did with violence in games during the 90s. It was their interest that led to the formation of the ESRB in the first place, to create that barrier between government and games. So whether you believe the government should regulate games or games should regulate themselves, as far as loot boxes are concerned, neither situation is happening right now, and something is going to have to give. So keep putting your fingers in your ears, game industry, and pretending there's nothing to see there. I'm really looking forward to seeing how long that lasts for you.